Bellwork without the work. Yep, I literally crossed it out. Picking Bellwork can be overwhelming. Too many options, too much planning, and then it becomes more work for you as a teacher than it does for your students. That's why I created 5 ready-to-use Bellwork templates that you can use in your classroom no matter the grade level or subject matter. By the end of this video, you'll have 5 ideas that you can use in your classroom today. Finally crossing the work out of Bellwork for good. I'm Annie, this is Educator University, let's get into it. This first template is tried and true, and it is just to simply reflect and summarize on what happened the day before. The idea of reflecting on yesterday's lesson can be applied to any subject. Here's an example of what it might look like in a language arts class. Let's say the lesson today is chapter 4 of The Giver, and yesterday students read chapter 3. Well, very simply, just have the students summarize what happened yesterday. This gets them primed for learning and gets them excited to get back into the novel. In this example, I've differentiated it by having students go first then last, and I've given them pictures to remind them of what happened in chapter 3. Now, again, this can be applied to other subjects as well. Here's an example of science. We have a picture of a cell. Have students draw and label the diagram using yesterday's notes. We're not asking them to just memorize. We're not asking them to find new information. We're just saying for them to find information from yesterday's notes. Now, this is great too because then they also have their notes out for when you're ready to start teaching the lesson. Another reason I like this Bellwork is because it requires students to draw. By having students draw out the diagram themselves, it requires them to actually create something, which if you're familiar is higher on the Bloom's taxonomy list. So you're really engaging more of those critical thinking skills. Reflecting on yesterday's lesson is an easy go-to when you're not sure what to do for Bellwork. It's effective and it's simple. And that's why it's the first one on this list. Now, let's say you want to go a little farther. Let's move into the next one, and that is prediction. Have the students make a prediction about something they're going to learn today in class. My suggestion to you is to make it something kind of fun and engaging. You don't want to make it too complicated or too unknown that they are so confused. For me as a teacher, it's kind of fun to find that space. They're not bored and they're not over challenged. They're just excited and they're curious. It's an interesting space in between. Let's see what this looks like in a language arts class. Maybe there's an event, object, or animal that's going to come into play in the next chapter, and you want students to start getting excited about it. You don't want to give spoilers, but maybe you can give a little bit of a hint of what's going to happen next. Like in this example, this Bellwork says, what do you think will happen in chapter 8 of The Hatchet? And you can see this slide has a little bit of differentiation with sentence frames and visuals. So I predict blank because blank, and I have a picture of a porcupine because in the story, in that chapter, there is a porcupine. So we don't know what's going to happen with the porcupine. We don't know why the porcupine is there, but students can start making predictions, and then they can see if it comes true at the end of the class. Predictions not only help you engage students during the Bellwork, but it also helps them to keep thinking throughout the period. Did they get it right? Did they make the prediction correct? The third kind of Bellwork that is always a go-to is vocabulary. When it comes to vocabulary, you can either have students review vocabulary from before, which is more of an easy task, or you can even have them guess using visuals and other clues on the side of vocabulary coming. So in this example, we have, what is photosynthesis? Now, if you'd already taught this, students probably be able to answer this pretty quickly. But if you haven't taught this concept yet, they could actually use the picture to make an educated guess. We have a flower, we have the sun, we have O2, CO2, H2O. They could start guessing what it might be just by using the picture. So vocabulary is a great start to getting students thinking with Bellwork. Now, the fourth type of Bellwork you can use is point of view. With point of view, you're really asking students to start embracing their own opinion. Point of view really engages students who want to have an opinion and a voice. A lot of students have strong feelings, and this allows them a chance to really engage with those feelings in a structured way. For example, do you agree or disagree with the quote? We have a quote from Abraham Lincoln. We cannot escape history. Underneath it, the sentence frame says, I agree, disagree because. This is a great way to get students thinking. There's really no right or wrong answer. It's more about how do you explain your thinking. Not only will this help your students to stretch their critical thinking skills, if you're a class that really works with discussions, these kinds of questions will really help students to prime their mind for some deeper discussions into the things you're about to talk about. And the nice thing is, you can keep this template and just change the quote, and it can become a whole different discussion. This last template has to do with connection. Connecting the content to students' lived experiences. In this Bellwork example, it says, Percy goes on a road trip. Share about a time you went on a road trip. And then we have some visuals to complement, to explain what a road trip is. And then we have sentence frames to help them set up where they went and why it was fun. These connection questions work well for any subject, but especially students who are learning a language. You can see we have the word road trip defined, travel traveling far by car, and we also have the Spanish word. Connecting your content to student experience makes your classroom seem more vivid and real for students. By creating these connections from your lesson to their real life, students can see the value of what this lesson is bringing to them. It answers the question we often get as teachers is, why are we learning this? Why is this important to my life? Making these connections helps students make the connections for themselves so they can understand the value that it is bringing to them. So there we have it. Reflection, prediction, vocabulary, point of view, and connection. And those are the 5 Bellwork templates to make your life easier. Quick, meaningful, and ready to go. Which one will you try first? Let me know in the comments. And if you want even more ways to make teaching easier, check out this video where I share how to make Mondays stress-free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.